So I'm going to hop into Canvas here, then I'll just do kind of a brief run through for you of some basics here, Randy, and then just let me know if you've got questions as we're going. That's not what I wanted to do. Mattias, I'm going to let you man the chat just because it's difficult to keep it up when you're on the screen. So on this landing page, when you first get in here, Randy, this is a global page. So you might see announcements here from any of the classes that you have, but you might also see announcements from the campus at large. So for example, you can see this is a message for Big Bend. So everybody at Big Bend is getting that message. So you can see the different types of messaging that are coming through. You can close those once you've seen the information. If you want to go back and review those, you can always go into your account settings and go back to the global announcements. And I do find that super helpful sometimes because I know I'll have seen something in there and then I can't remember exactly what it was, but I don't want it kind of clogging up my screen. So going back and viewing those announcements later can be helpful. This is your dashboard. By default, it's probably set to this card view. You're only going to see classes that you're enrolled in here, or you should only be seeing classes you're enrolled in here. You can change this by clicking on the three little dots if you want it to go to a list view, or if you wanted to see items that are coming up or recent activity, sorry. Got a frog in my throat this morning. This gray colored toolbar all the way off on here on the left is your global navigation toolbar. So it's going to be, again, for any of the classes that you have in Canvas. We're going to start out with the very top tab. That's going to be your account tab. And we'll go ahead and go down to the settings. I do want you to know that if you are trying to access Canvas from a phone versus a computer, this will look different for you. So it does work to view some information on a phone. I wouldn't suggest trying to do all of your work from a phone in Canvas. Things are gonna look a lot different and they don't submit the same way all the time. In your settings, you're gonna see your basic information, your name, display name. If you want to edit your display name that's showing up here, you can do that by clicking on editing settings. You can also add a picture of yourself if you want to do that by clicking to change the profile picture. I want to talk specifically about the ways to contact listed over here. One of the really great things about Canvas is you can be notified about items that are happening in each of your classes, but you get to choose how and when you're getting those notifications. So this ways to contact is how you're going to set that up. By default, it's going to have whatever email address you had on file with us when you applied to the college. You can add another email address there if you'd like. You can also add a cell phone number if you want to receive text message notifications. So you can put in your cell number, choose the carrier. It's going to send you a code you have to input here. Once you've done that, then you'll be able to get text message notifications as well. So I'm going to come back over to this white toolbar here. The very top one now says notifications, so we can take a look at that. So these notifications, again, are a global tool. So it's going to be for all of your classes that you have. You can't change the notifications specifically for one class and not another one. If you just hover over the activity, it's going to give you a little brief description of what that notification is for. And then you'll notice over here, I only had my Big Bend email, so there's one column listed for me. If you had multiple contact methods listed there, you would see multiple columns here, and you can choose how you want those notifications going to each contact method. If you just hover over the little icon and click on that, you're going to see there's 4 different notification options for you. So the little bell will notify you immediately. The calendar with a number in it is going to give you a daily summary. The blank calendar is going to give you a weekly summary, and the bell with a slash through it will just turn off notifications for that item. So Canvas has already pre-populated these for you. You can change these at any time. All you have to do is select the item that you want, and you can see it change the icon for me. So you can come back and adjust these at any time. If you start getting through your classes and you're like, man, I wish I would have known that a little sooner, or I really don't need these notifications so often, you can come in and adjust these at any time. Underneath the account tab, then back in our global toolbar here is our dashboard dashboard. That's where we started. Again, that's where you're going to see your classes listed and any announcements that might be posted. You'll notice on the right-hand side of my screen, I have a to-do list of items. And as I scroll down, I have some coming up items and recent feedback. You might see something like that as well. That side of the screen is going to change as you go through your class, kind of depending on what's going on in each of your classes. We'll get into a class here shortly and take a look at that, but we're going to continue on with the global toolbar first. So the next icon is for your courses specifically. It should list your current courses. If you want to change what that looks like, you can click on all courses. And if you select the star next to an item, it's going to show up on the dashboard for you. So if there's some class you have there that you're not needing access, or maybe it's showing you an old course listed or something, you can just change that by using the stars there.
Also, if you have a course that you know you're registered for and you're not seeing it, it could well be unpublished, meaning it just hasn't been made available yet. And you can check that on this page.
Great point. Thank you, Mattias. The next icon I'm going to go to is the little calendar. This is another one of my favorite tools in Canvas, especially. I wish we had something like this when I was in school, because I was keeping it all on paper. And as things changed, you had to, cross out or erase or do things. Let me find, here we go. So I, for example, am teaching a PE class right now. So I just clicked on that calendar to have it show up. So you can see this gray box is next to the PE class. And so for every item they have due, there's a little gray box on the calendar with that item. Okay. So each of your classes, you can select to have them showing up on the calendar. There's nothing for that class, but you'll see that it will give them each a different color. Okay, so you could have all of your classes showing up here, and you can see how the different items are going to fit together for your schedule for the quarter. It's really nice to be able to kind of look through and see where you've got sort of a bunch of assignments due, or a bunch of big projects coming up, or things to be able to plan your schedule. So the calendar tool is a nice feature. The next icon is our inbox. Canvas does have its own messaging system. This is similar to any other email you use, but it's its own system within Canvas. When you set up your notifications, you can receive these messages to an outside email address as well. And one of the things I love about it is that you can respond to those emails that you're getting through Canvas in whatever other email system you're using. So for example, these get forwarded to my Big Bend email, and I can read these messages and respond to them from my Big Bend email without having to come back into Canvas to read them. You can select a course that you've got, find a person in there. Sorry. I have so many classes in here, guys. Okay, so if you know the person's name, you can just start typing their name. Otherwise, you can use the little icon at the end, the little address book, to find who it is that you're looking for and add them to a message. Okay, just like any other email, you can type in a subject line. You can type in your content here. You've got the option to attach items. You've also got the option down here to record audio or video comments if you want, and then you're just going to send those items. Anything that you're seeing in here, see if I can scroll down and find some, that's got a little blue dot next to it, is an item that you have not read yet. Okay, so you'll be able to see those unread items there. The help tab here at the very bottom has a lot of great resources for you. If Canvas is misbehaving, you can use the report a problem link. This is going to go to Mattias. He's our e-learning coordinator first. He and Tim in the library are great about getting things fixed quickly. If they're not able to, then they'll send it on to the Canvas team off campus. So if Canvas itself is not behaving in the way it should be, then you can report that problem there. If you find after today's session that you wanted to do a one-on-one tutorial with Mattias, you can request that here. There's also some resources about getting started with Panopto, which is a recording feature some of your instructors might use. The Passport to Canvas is a self-paced kind of training course that you can go through on how to use Canvas. And then lots of other resources here for you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go back up to my dashboard tab. Actually, I'm going to go into my courses so I can find the one I use for this. All right, so once you are in an actual course, you'll see that you have now this course navigation toolbar here. It kind of blends in with everything else because they changed the color some time ago and now it's this white toolbar, so it blends in with the center of your page. But no matter what class you're in, you're always going to see this gray global navigation toolbar on the left, this white navigation toolbar specific to where you are, and then the center is going to have content for you, and that's going to change depending on what you've selected. The tabs that you'll see in the toolbar within a specific course can't be changed as far as the names, but instructors can choose which tabs you see. So you might not see all of the tabs listed there. Okay. The modules tab is going to be one that you certainly want to look for if instructors have one in there. Modules are a way of grouping different types of content together. So if you think about being in a face-to-face class, you're going to have, readings that you need to do. You might watch videos. You're going to have class lectures. You're going to have discussions. You'll have assignments that are due and quizzes and tests and maybe a survey you take. All of those same things can happen in an online class. And oftentimes instructors will group those together in modules. Usually you're going to see modules put together either by topic or by week. I would say a majority of the instructors I've seen are going to put modules together by week. So week 1, you're going to have all of these items, week 2, etc. But I have seen some instructors who will group it by topic or kind of thing that you're working on. So you might see them grouped together in different ways. Each of these little icons here next to an item is going to tell you kind of what kind of item that is. So a little paper here with writing is a page. This is just content the instructor has created for you. It might be written text, they might have embedded a video, but it's just kind of like a Word document, but it's a document that they just created here in Canvas. Anything that's got the little paper clip is an attachment. So that is a document they created outside of Canvas and they want you to have access here and you can access it directly in Canvas. Okay, the little chain link is an external URL. So same thing, they might have a website they want you to visit or some information you can access on the web, but they've linked it directly for you in Canvas so you can continue to see that in your Canvas class without having to go somewhere else. The little paper with the pencil is an assignment. And so you can submit those online. Oftentimes it's going to be a Word document, but there are some other formats, maybe a text box, or a link to like a Google Doc that they might have you submit. The little rocket ship is a quiz. This might be a quiz or a test or a survey, but it's going to be that general format. And then the speech bubbles are a discussion. And so we will go through and just take a look quickly at how these look. I'm gonna hop in. Oh gosh, I haven't updated these for a while. I'm gonna hop in as a student real quickly. All right, so again, this was just content that was created, and here you can see I had some text and some pictures. You can use the next tab at the bottom to be able to go to the next item in the module without having to go back to the module link itself. This was a document that was created outside of Canvas that I wanted students to have access to, so you can see that you can see the document right here within Canvas itself. If you want to be able to download that document, or if for some reason you're not able to see it here in the screen, you can click on the link. It will download for you. You can save it, you can print it, you can do whatever you need with it. Okay, again, using that next tab, here's that external URL. So I wanted students to be able to look at the searchable class schedule, and I've just linked it directly here in Canvas for them. Again, depending on the browser you're using, sometimes there will be security things that aren't allowing documents or websites to show up for you. If that's the case, you can just click on the title of it. It's going to open it in a separate tab for you. And so you can still view whatever your instructor had there. Okay, assignments. When you come into an assignment, you're going to see when it's due, how many points it's worth, and how you can submit that document. So this example is a file upload, and then there might be an available date as well. Okay. The difference between the due date and the available date is the due date is the date by which it's due. The available date is, if there is one, is when you will last be able to see this assignment. So for example, my students needed to submit this by October 12th, but they were going to be able to see it until January 18th. Okay. Obviously not real dates, but sometimes, like for example, in my class, you could submit an assignment for half points after the due date for up to a week after the due date. So you might still be able to see it even though it was already due. So just know that that due date and the available date are different things. You'll see any details they have, and if they've included a rubric, you'll also see those listed here. I've already submitted this in a sample before in a workshop, but if this was your first time submitting this assignment, it would just say submit assignment. And when you click on that blue button, you're going to have the opportunity to choose a file. You're going to attach a file just like you would to an email or anything else. And so when you put that in here, hey, I can now see the file name, and I'm going to submit the assignment. And once I've done that, I want to make sure that I see this submission information here. It's going to show me the date and time. If, for example, I submitted this late, I can see that. I can see the submission details, and I can also see the document that I downloaded. If your instructor leaves comments, you'll be able to see those here later, and then I'll also show you where you can see comments in the gradebook. If we go to the next item here, then example, this was a quiz. Same kind of thing, you're going to see when this is due, how many points it's worth, how many questions there are, when it's available until, and then if there's a time limit and how many attempts are allowed. You definitely want to pay attention to this. If there is a time limit to it and you start the quiz, it's going to keep track of the time for you. It will auto submit for you when your time runs out if you haven't already saved the quiz. If there is no time limit, you have to make sure you submit the quiz, otherwise your instructor will never see it. The attempts allowed, if there is only one attempt allowed, you can't start the quiz, leave to go do something else, and then come back, or that is going to be counted as your attempt. Okay? Again, there's going to be instructions and details here. You'd click the little take the quiz button. These could be set up in different ways. So you might have all of the questions listed on one page, or you might have to answer one question and then go to the next page. Just like any other quiz or test you could take, you might have true, false, multiple choice, fill in the blank, short answer, essay questions, etc. Okay. One of the really great features about these quizzes is you can see the questions listed up here. If you remember, it told us there were 12 questions, so I can scroll through and see there are 12 questions here. You can see that this timer has started. Even though there wasn't a time limit set, I'm going to be able to see that timer running. As I come through and answer questions, if we go back up to that, you'll see there's a little check mark next to each of those questions as I complete them. It can be easy to kind of miss a question on accident. And so if that happens, when I come to the end of the quiz and go to submit it, it's going to notify me that I have 8 unanswered questions. And you can see that right sidebar for details. So there's no way for you to submit your quiz without knowing if you've accidentally missed a question, or if you intentionally skipped a question and wanted to be able to go back and forgot about it, it's going to notify you. So you're not going to be able to submit this quiz without going back and checking to make sure that you've answered all the questions. If you want to submit it anyways, you're just going to click OK. Okay, you're going to be able to see the time and the score. Now, one of the things I hear a lot from students is, oh my gosh, I did this quiz and I thought I did really well and I have a 5 out of 50. Well, some of those questions will be auto-graded. If they're true, false, if they're fill in the blank, if they're multiple choice kind of things, they might be auto-graded. But your short answer and essay questions are going to be have to be graded by your instructor. And so if you're not seeing a score that makes sense to you, take a look. It says some questions are not yet graded, so you don't have to kind of panic about that score right away. All right. Oh, we had discussions. All right, discussion, same thing. We're going to be able to see how many points are possible when this discussion is due. Then you're going to see kind of the requirements for the discussion. As you get started with a discussion, you're going to see little boxes up here with numbers in them. One of those boxes is going to be how many replies there are total. If there's a little gray box with a number in it, that's going to be how many replies you have not yet seen. So as people start to add to a discussion, you can easily kind of hop through, find that little button on the side, and the ones that have that blue colored in are items you haven't seen. So you can kind of filter through and find what you're looking for unread items. When you go through and see the discussion expectations, you're going to want to click on the reply box directly beneath the prompt to do your own post. Generally, what you're going to see is an instructor say something like, post your own thoughts and respond to 2 other students. Okay, so you want to post your own thoughts first. You can do that here. There is an editor here, so you can do, bold, change the text size and color and things like that if you need. You do have the opportunity to add images or links, things like that. Once you post that reply, you'll see I've put a response there. You also have the option to reply to other students' comments. And so you can see here, this was testing for the workshop. Someone replied to it. If I want to reply to them, I'm going to click on that reply box that's directly beneath them. Same thing, I've got the editing features, and I'm going to post my reply. Okay. Mattias, anything to add to any of this so far?
No, I think so far you've been very thorough.
Hey, Randy, do you have any questions at this point? Okay, I'll talk about a couple of other tabs here that you might regularly see. One is the announcements. Those are just like they sound like. This is a way for instructors online to make announcements to you about events that might be coming up or specific things they want you to take note of for the class. Maybe there's some reminders. This could be any number of things listed in the announcements. The syllabus tab is a great place to start for any class. You want to make sure you go through that syllabus, know what the expectations are, know how the grading scale is going to work, know what you need for your class. The grades tab, once you go into that, you'll be able to keep track of your grade for the course. Okay, you're going to be able to see items that were due, when they were due, the status and score, and then out of how many points that was. Okay, so this is just a sample, so I have a bunch of things in here missing or late. Here's an example of this career interview. You can see here there's just a little paper listed. And it's out of 75 points. This is showing you that you submitted this document, but your instructor hasn't graded it yet. Okay, once they grade that item, there will be a score in this column. Okay, so you can come through and you can keep track. Same thing will happen for quizzes that you do or things like that. If you've submitted a quiz, but there are still items your instructor hasn't graded, you'll be able to see that little rocket ship here showing you you've submitted that item, but it hasn't actually been graded yet. And then once there is a score, you'll see that score listed there. What am I missing, Mattias?
Did you already mention that each course may look a bit different?
Probably not.
I think, okay.
Yep, yeah, so classes will look a little bit different. This home page when you come in might look different depending on how the instructor has it set up. They might, again, use different tabs in this navigation toolbar, so you might not see all of these tabs listed Some instructors use modules, some don't. They'll just have the assignments tab and the quizzes tab for you. So they will look different. So I'd suggest going through your courses, kind of looking at how they're all lined out. And if you do have questions about how they're set up or kind of what the expectation is, if it's not clear, reach out to that instructor early so they can kind of help you with how to navigate through their course.
And some instructors may use additional tools like Zoom.
Yes.
And if they do, they should tell you how they plan on using that in the syllabus or earlier in the course. If you have questions about course content, you should ask your instructor first. If you have questions about the way Canvas works, then you should ask me, and I'll put my email address in the chat. And then if you have questions that are more about or password issues, for example, you should ask BBT first, because all the school accounts are linked, and if you reset your password, it will be for all of those accounts. And the tool for doing that is on the school homepage. Any other questions, Randy? Okay. Well, thank you for showing up. And thank you, Jen, for leading.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Randy. Good luck this quarter. Like Mattias said, let us know if you have questions.